Welcome to our new series, the 200 Movie Challenge. Our goal this year is to watch 200 movies that we haven't seen yet. If you want to listen to the full podcast where this clip is from, the link will be in the description. Now enjoy today's movie.
But Soto,
I
you
like
said you
theater
said there's
movies.
something that ties into your first movie, so let's get to it.
Yeah.
What was the first movie you saw this week?
So the first movie that I saw this week, and it's a movie that I've been trying to watch for a while, and it came out way back in 2014. Um, and it's Paul Thomas Anderson's Inherent Vice. It stars Joaquin Phoenix. Josh Brolin's actually also in this, and a few other people here and there. But I was a big fan of Paul Thomas Anderson when I was growing up, especially when I was back in the early 2000s, and I was going through film school. Was a big fan of all his work. I had watched Hard Eight, I had seen Boogie Nights, and then I watched Magnolia, and then ultimately, I think it's funny. Towards the end of my film school life, is right around when There Will Be Blood came out, and There Will Be Blood is just obviously a masterpiece, um, and way different tonally than like his other movies. And I do want to add that I did see Punch Drunk Love as well, which I have mixed feelings about, but I thought it was a decent, kind of a movie with Adam Sandler. So I liked what he did there, but I've always liked Paul Thomas Anderson's work. I wouldn't say I think I'd probably put him a little bit below Quentin Tarantino as far as influence and directors that I kind of grew up watching. And after There Will Be Blood, I kind of went into a period where I stopped kind of watching movies. I know I worked at Blockbuster, but it became kind of a drag because you work in retail. But Inherent Vice is a movie that has always been on my radar because it had that kind of sort of from what I'd seen in the trailer, it was like an irreverent kind of Joaquin Phoenix as a PI, kind of funny stuff happens, and I was like, okay, maybe this is going to be a light movie. Clocks in at like around 2.5 hours, so you know how I feel about that. But
Yeah.
overall, the story revolves around Joaquin Phoenix's character. He plays this pretty much private investigator that's like perpetually stoned. So I was getting a lot of Big Lebowski vibes when I was first watching this, and he gets wrapped up in a conspiracy, and then the whole case gets all weird and everything, and then he just finds himself in serious circumstances. Then, um, yeah, like he's high all the time. Um, stylistically, I thought it was great. There were some shots that I thought were really awesome. Overall, you could tell it's done by a director who knows what he's doing. I didn't mind Joaquin Phoenix. If there was one thing that I would say about this movie that kind of irked me, besides the runtime, would probably be there was this like kind of narration going on throughout the movie, by a character who was kind of omniscient, I guess, but also was part of the plot, and I found the narration to be really annoying at times and kind of very self-aware, and that kind of took me out. But there were parts where I definitely laughed, and it takes place in the early 70s, so it kind of is like in line with what you were talking about with the Nice Guys. So it's kind of got that same vibe. I mean, it's right in the beginning of the 70s. So it's basically like a PI movie, but if your PI was like on drugs the whole time, which I did find that kind of funny. And I think that Joaquin Phoenix does a great job. There's a lot of hippies versus the establishment stuff in here. But overall, like, did I enjoy it? As a Paul Thomas Anderson movie, yeah, I did. Um, again, I probably will end up watching this movie again sometime in the future, just to kind of like see what I missed because there's so much going on. Obviously, I mean, I feel like I kind of missed some stuff while I was watching it, but overall, it was enjoyable. I just thought that again, the narration and the voiceover was kind of just a drag to me. But when I look at my movies and I think about where this ranks, I put it, and you're gonna be like, okay, well, this can't be ranking very high, but I actually put it right below When We Were King. So this is actually going to be number 5 for me, I believe, as far as movies that I've seen, just because um, the way that it was shot and the way that the plot like turned out and everything and how it all worked out, I thought it was very well done and I enjoyed it. I just wish it was a little bit shorter. But I can't say that I like Nosferatu better or any other ones that are in that kind of second tier.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm ranking this one, kind of like as the 5th best movie. It's not like going in there with a lot of confidence, but I think that it was just, it had its funny moments. I, I'll be honest with you, I think The Nice Guys is better than this movie. So, because The Nice Guys is just pure fun, and
Yes.
I think I know what Paul Thomas Anderson's trying to do with this movie, and again, I got the vibe, but I wouldn't say it was like super enjoyable. But I still understand the craft and I get it, and so that's why I kind of ranked it at 5. And again, it does have a little bit of a noir style, and there are some, kind of like funny moments, but 5 is what feels good for me for this one.
A top 5 film. Did you expect that this week?
For now.
For now. I mean, yes, things can obviously change.
As we look at these lists, right? It's like, you kind of start looking at these things, you're saying how you feel, and it's kind of like what your gut goes through. It's not a confident 5, and I don't think it'll stay there, but I think that that's kind of, where it is. I think it's just above that kind of middle tier that I have right now with Nosferatu, Terrifier, Menu, and Northman, and all these other ones. I think it's right on the edge of that at 5. I'm happy I saw it. I will continue to watch Paul Thomas Anderson movies. I know Licorice Pizza is one of them that is for free as well.
That's an interesting
Phantom
title.
Thread. Yeah.
Not that I thought,
Phantom
I
Thread
know,
is-
yeah.
No, but like, and there's other ones like Phantom Thread with Daniel Day-Lewis that Sarah's turned me on to. So, again, I think I just need to rewatch this again. It just didn't have the oomph that I thought it was going to have. Although, like there is particularly one sequence in this film that I thought was an absolute masterpiece, and it involves him going to this. He's investigating this real estate agency, and he goes there, and it's just the way that the cinematography is, and driving there. And then from Joaquin getting out of his car and walking there as well, very well done. But a movie is not just sequences, right? Like
Correct.
it's also the plot, and it's how you feel about things and how much you feel engaged in what's going on. And I think that I think it was inconsistent. But I'm willing to give it, obviously I'm willing to put it up there based on just the way that it was done.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, as we're looking at our list from week to week, you might change it, even without seeing it. I know you did that with Hell or High Water, because it wasn't that like at like number 2 or 3 at one time, and then you had to drop it. Sometimes when you sit on it,
that was a honeymoon period.
yeah, it happens, and it happens. I've done it too, and from going up, going down, you just really have to think about it, and sometimes it changes, and yeah, no, it gets harder, but we kind of are seeing the tiers, so. So Soto, after
You get a feel for it,
we get a good feel. Even now I sometimes look at my list and I'm like, I kind of like this list, but then I'm like, well, but nothing sells me on moving something. But you never know. You never ever know.
It was better than Peanut Butter Falcon.
A heartwarming story with body slams.
Yeah, and peanut butter.
Peanut butter. I don't want to know. I definitely don't want to know.